Hutchinson is a community with a large number of churches, and Peace was one of the first to be organized. From the beginning, God has blessed Peace with continued growth in membership. This has necessitated enlarging our church campus with the addition of several new structures for the extension of our ministries. Earliest records state that there were a number of Lutheran families who settled in the village of Hutchinson. They found, however, no Lutheran church building or school. Under the leadership of Pastor Henry Brown, a lot was purchased on the corner of Franklin Street and 4th Avenue. Between 1892 and 1893, a frame structure measuring 26 feet by 40 feet by 16 feet was constructed at a cost of $1,500. In 1902, a large cross-section was added to the church, and 2 acres of land was purchased on the Acoma Road for a cemetery. As the congregation grew, a new pipe organ was installed, a new parsonage was built, and in 1927, our current sanctuary was built at a cost of $75,000. Much of the labor was done with volunteers, including digging the basement by hand and hauling the dirt out with teams of horses. The cornerstone was laid in October of 1926. It contains a copper-sealed and soldered inner box, which holds a brief history of the church and membership, a copy of the church constitution, German and English Bibles, the Formula of Concord 1580, German and English copies of Luther's Small Catechism, German and English hymnals, copies of local Lutheran periodicals, a list of contributors with the sums of their donations, names of the then current U.S. President, Minnesota Governor, Hutchinson Mayor, and City Council members, a copy of the Hutchinson Leader and the Minneapolis Journal, a number of U.S. coins, and a miniature U.S. flag. As the congregation grew, more space was needed for our ministries, and in 1954 an education wing was dedicated. This wing also housed the new church offices and was connected to the church building with a tunnel which went under the alley between them. The cost of this addition was $93,000. As properties became available, Peace acquired some of them with a view toward the future expansion. In 1974, lots on the southwest corner of the block were purchased, and the parsonage was moved from Lot 9 to Lot 6, making room for expanded church facilities. In 1982, Pastor James Lauer provided leadership in the decision to add the current Peace Center space for fellowship, a handicap access to the sanctuary, and a new office complex. The cost of this addition was $650,000. Peace has always been forward-thinking in the community, including a concern for senior housing. This concern developed into the planning and construction of Prince of Peace Retirement Living. This facility was, at the time, the only senior housing in the area with a Christian philosophy. The project was completed at a cost of $2.7 million in 1995. The east half of the block was purchased a lot at a time in succeeding years for parking and future Prince of Peace Retirement Living expansion. The opportunity to purchase the former Dobrat's Honky Funeral Home presented itself in 2005 to further expand Peace Ministries. The purchase was made for $250,000. Now known as Peace Place, it is currently used for youth activities. Our latest expansion to increase our ministry is the Little Lambs Christian Center. Built in 2009, this addition allowed us to renovate the education building, add an elevator, and create a commons area for a gathering space with a storage room below. This also provided a new space for Little Lambs Preschool, as well as daycare, infant and after-school care. The cost of this project was $4.5 million. The center and preschool not only ministers to our congregation, but is a major outreach to the community. Peace has grown from a handful of families in 1891 to over 2,500 members today. So as history shows us, God has generously provided us with the resources for spreading the gospel. We as members of Peace Congregation are all a necessary part of this goal. Truly, looking back at the last 125 years of peace history, we all must gratefully and should cheerfully testify, the Lord has done great things for us, and we are filled with joy.